Good morning, god damn it. Piss and vinegar day, 180 something. Can't remember what day it is, eh? Upper body day, upper right body day. Right pec, right delt, and right back. No left. Left's out of action. He's no longer with us. Well, he's not with us for a while. Still in my brace. Probably won't be back in a while for a little bit. But anyway, it's all good. Training the other arm just as hard as ever. And I'm retaining most of my gains in my back and my pec and my shoulder. It's just my arm. Arm shrank like crazy. In fact, I might show you guys a little picture in here in post to show the difference between my left and right arm now. It's crazy. As you can see in the background, we have my new motivational poster. Nice giant man boob and nipple. You can't see the other half of this poster. It's actually a really good motivational poster. From what you can see, it looks fucking crazy and wild. My clients sometimes look at it with a confused look on their face, and they don't say anything, but I see that they see, and I'm like, damn, they're they're confused about what. Anyway, I'll show you guys tomorrow what the actual fucking motivational poster about. I don't like motivational speeches or posters and shit. I actually fucking despise that shit because it's a denying of reality. It's denying that it's like motivational music or a movie. It doesn't last. It's drive, it's spite that gets you through hard times, not motivation. Motivation's a spark, but it's a false spark too. You shouldn't even be motivated. You should just fucking get straight into that shit, because then you'll be like, I'll do it on Monday. That kind of nonsense. No, you just do it today. You don't fucking look for the David Goggins quote. You don't. Anyway, but this fucking poster, I like it. It actually genuinely motivates me because it makes you just think. It doesn't make you. It doesn't make you go, wow, I'm so motivated to do shit. It just makes you go, oh yeah, true. Anyway, there's that, and then you can see the Japanese flag, which is pretty cool beneath me. What's going on today? I'm doing pecs, kind of a dud here. I'm just doing new exercises, experimenting and shit. But this fucking pec stuff was nonsense. It didn't fucking do anything. I just missed my dumbbells. I want to get a pec machine too. I got a new phone. My old phone died, just broke on me, and then my mum gave me her old spare phone. Me mother, me ma. She had like an old iPhone 7. The camera's better. It looks kind of nice. It's not so. It's like a darker, really dark camera. So I had to light the fuck out of my gym, which means I can actually see now. So it all works out in the end. Before I have like my Google Pixel would fucking like it would make everything so bright. It would make me look like one of those Aryan dudes from Dune, one of those like bald, fucking pale Arconian. I don't remember the name of them. The fucking really white dudes, the villains. It just so happens the whitest characters in that new Doom movie happen to also be the biggest villains. It made me look like one of those. But now it's I don't know. This camera's nice. What am I fucking doing? What am I talking about? Fuck, I was gonna talk about something. Now I can't remember what the fuck it was. Oh yeah, I got a few revelations today. One is fucking drop sets are the way to go. I've been doing a bunch of drops. I've been doing a bunch of sets to failure, numerous sets to failure lately, like one or two, maybe even three, maybe even four, depending on the exercise, just to experiment to see. But I don't think it's anywhere as good as just simply not resting and just dropping the fucking weight and just keep going, doing numerous sets all to failure in one go, rather than spending 10 minutes on an exercise like a boring fucking. It's just so boring waiting in between sets. I don't know how people do volume. It's just so boring and gay and lame. Whereas I just fail and bam, just drop the weight and do another fucking set of 10, and then fail and then bam, drop the weight and do another set of 10, and just do like 3 or 4 times. And the stimulus you get from that is way more profound. You get way better pump, you get more of a burn, you get better mind muscle connection, you save time. The only problem is certain exercises are harder to drop set. But it was very obvious between when I was doing my pec exercises here, I was doing numerous sets of failure with rest in between. And then when I trained my back, I just did fucking crazy amount of drop sets. I just bam, 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 just dropped them out. And my back, I've never hit my back this hard in my life. My back's fucking, well, my right back is fucked. The other back's pretty rested. But yeah, drop sets are the way to go. They're just better. Like, yeah, I'm trying to get more sets beyond failure at the moment. I'm trying to see how much, I might need more stimulus than Dorian Yates. I might need more stimulus than Mike Mensa because I don't have the genetics. I don't have the steroids. But so then I might need to do more sets to failure, and that might mean that I have to do what am I talking about? I'm having a fucking stroke. Yeah, more sets to failure. But I should do it in a drop set format because it's the same fucking thing, only better because it saves time and you get a better stimulus. So that was one of the big revelations today was the difference between doing numerous sets of failure and then on back doing just fucking crazy straight to back drop sets. What else did I realize today? I realized a bunch of shit and I can't remember what the fuck they were now. I've been having a lot of revelations in my training lately as I train. As I experiment right now because I'm injured. Fuck, man, I really can't remember what it was. Oh, yes. No, that was another thing is when I get back to like proper normal training again with both my arms and the same and I start bulking up and shit like that, I'm going to do sort of a bunch of experiments, really, but one of them being I'm going to train my back without progressive overload. I'm just going to train my back instinctively because the back requires so much mind-muscle connection. I just find it's best to just pick a weight that feels comfortable, not trying to force progression all the time and like slowly degrading your ability to really focus on the muscles, counting reps and shit. I'm just going to fucking like just go for it, dude. I'm just going to hit my back hard as shit, train to failure, do a bunch of drop sets on chin-ups and pull-ups and fucking cable rows and shit. Train every fiber, all the different muscle, from all the different angles until I feel like my back's cooked. And I'm going to see what happens to my back. And I'm going to see what happens when I don't worry about progressive overload. Because again, if you're in a calorie surplus and you are gaining muscle, and also if you're progressing on every other fucking lift, like I'm going to be counting progression on everything else. And if they're progressing, then my back's progressing. There's just no way my back wouldn't be progressing. So it wouldn't matter then to know whether or not it's progressing. Just every week, I would just get a weight, go really fucking hard, and I'd just be naturally getting stronger. Whether or not I know it or not, I would, because the rest of me would be progressing. And the thing is, like, if your bench press or your pecs are progressing, your back is definitely fucking progressing. Because you can gain muscle in your back and legs even in a weight cut. You can gain strength in your muscles in your back and your legs in a weight cut because they're just very responsive. Whereas chest, I mean, the bench press is notorious for losing strength through weight cuts and size. Same with triceps and arms. So if things that are very hard to progress in a weight cut, or just hard to progress, or harder to progress in general relative to the back, are progressing, like the arms, like the back, then I'll know, the arms and the chest, I'll know that my back's progressing. And then progressive overload's only arbitrary at that point, and really it's a hindrance for me because I've been able to train my back so much better right now when I'm not worrying about anything but just feeling my fucking back and just training to failure. And I'm not worrying about, how many drop sets and rest pulls. I'm just fucking just going intrinsically and instinctively. I think there's a lot of benefit to that because otherwise you start overcomplicating things. I was watching, who was I watching today? I'm not going to name names, but I was watching someone because I'm trying to be open-minded at the moment about my training and getting tidbits of information from other people. But at the same time, I'm trying to be closed-minded enough that I don't fall for anything. Because if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. So it's a fine line between, being so open-minded that you just fall for everything and you're a total fucking, soulless creature of nothingness and you just do whatever anyone tells you and you're program hopping and you're trying all the different, goofy exercises. And then there's also being the guy that does only chin-ups and bench press because you think that your biceps are going to grow plenty from chin-ups and your triceps will grow optimally from bench press. There's too dogmatic and then there's too open-minded. I'm trying to be somewhere maybe closer to dogmatic but slightly more open-minded. Anyway, I'm watching this fucking guy, exercise science motherfucker, and he's smart for sure. This guy was legit, has incredible physique, very well-known guy. I won't name names, but he's just making shit up. He was just straight up making shit up, in his training. And I'm like, why the fuck is this guy doing this? He's just making shit up, just on the spot. And the reason he was doing it is just to gatekeep. It was just to overcomplicate the fuck out of everything, so that that everyone's reliant on you. If you can convince everyone that exercise is really fucking complicated, and the only way to get big is knowing every single ounce of super complicated exercise science law, or hidden fucking Jesuit order hidden C-scroll fucking exercise science knowledge under my gatekeeping rule because I studied exercise science for 650,000 years. This is the kind of attitude I see from these people. Is they're fucking I'm so fucking knowledgeable, bro. I'm fucking I have a dominion with sophistry I speak with such long words. These are like the Jordan Petersons of exercise science. And it makes you suckle on their teeth of information because you think without them, you'll never get big. When in reality, all they did was just overcomplicate the fuck out of things and make a bunch of shit up so that you think that you need them. And I've talked to personal trainers who do this a lot. Personal trainers are really guilty of this. I don't do this personally because I think it actually works better when you stay honest and simple. Simple is far better because you can adhere to it. But I've met a lot of PTs who are terrified of making things simple for their clients because then they think that their clients will graduate. They'll be like, all right, well, I understand what I'm doing now, so bye-bye, I don't need you anymore. But at the end of the day, there'll still be something that you can teach to your students if you're the master. And oftentimes, it's the most simplistic things that then have the most nuance. I mean, that's why I love arm wrestling, for example. I won't get into that, though. But I've met a lot of PTs who were pretty honest about it, but they say, yeah, just fucking overcomplicate shit so the client never can graduate. Whereas I have a really good adherence rate with my clients. They very seldom do they give up on training, which is great for my business, because I just keep everything very fucking simple, and they actually make gains. I've had clients who have trained with personal trainers for like fucking damn near 5 years, and they say I never gained any fucking strength or size or anything. I never got fitter. I never got anything better. Because these PTs would cycle like 50,000 different fucking leg exercises rather than focusing on one or two that were really bang for the buck and just progressively overloading them and making sure that I was a decent degree to failure and making sure that I was doing shit that was safe also, because these clients are like getting injured a lot too because they're just doing all this fucking nonsense. And also it was overcomplicated because you go into the training with anxiety because it's like, what am I doing today? Am I like, whereas they come to me, they're like, I know what I'm doing. It's the same shit. And you think they would get bored of it, and you think they'd be like, well, I understand this now, so I'm going to leave. And that's happened once or twice, but the vast majority are like really into that. People much prefer honesty and simplicity versus gatekeeping and overcomplication. So I don't know how I got to this, but anyway, marketing nonsense is everywhere, especially in the dietary and exercise science world. And at the end of the day, a lot of this shit is individual anyway. Like, part of my thing with clients is like keeping it simple, but like, this guy's 6'10". Maybe we shouldn't do an arse to grass Olympic style squat. Maybe we should do a box squat for this guy. Or, this guy is 70 years old. Maybe we should do a hack squat because his lower back's kind of fucked, and we should isolate that with like hyperextensions or Supermans or whatever works for him, safety wise, adherence wise. Does this guy fucking hate this exercise? He does? Cool. Well, let's not fucking do it because he'll never come back if it does. So like when I watch these guys who overcomplicate exercise with exercises that are excellent for them, they might be absolutely shit for the guy that's watching it, who's like, wow, yeah, the stimulus to fatigue ratio is so good, and he's doing that incline bench at 55 degrees, and he's protracting his scapula, which is then allowing him to abduct his humerus across his chest, which is allowing him to abduct his fucking pec muscles better and isolate that. But just like overcomplicated the fuck out of this exercise, when really he could have done something way different that would work far better for his anatomy anyway. So you got to experiment. I think this is where I'm tying it. I think this is what I was trying to do, is tie this point into experimentation, but I don't fucking remember. Anyway, I'm experimenting at the moment. And this shit fucking happens in high intensity too. Like, there's marketing everywhere. And even my heroes, who I fucking, well, I don't hero worship, don't get me wrong here. Maybe my people that I look up to, let's say, like a Dorian Yates. A Dorian Yates will say shit like, you only need one set to failure for everything. And you don't really need anything like that, and you shouldn't train to failure every single time either. That's all cool and well for Dorian Yates, who has almost the most mesomorphic physique anyone's ever had, plus a shit ton of gear. But I personally can't just do one set to failure on my calves. I'm starting to realize this, and I was dogmatic for a long time, saying the same shit. Yeah, you only need one set. Although I was a little bit more open-minded, I'd say you need a bunch of drop sets and shit beyond failure if you need that. But anyway, I was saying like you don't need much. But I'm starting to realize that for my calves and my traps, for example, which are very heavy weight-bearing muscles that are very genetically uninclined for me, probably need a few more sets beyond failure, or at the very least a fuck ton of rest pauses and drop sets, because I am indeed not super mesomorphic, and I'm indeed not on fucking steroids. So for me, the marketing gimmick of high intensity coming from someone who is a very honest person in Dorian Yates, his logic was fallible. It was a fallacy to his logic. He's a very logical person, And that's why I like high intensity so much, because you can't overcomplicate high intensity all that much. If anything, it's too simplistic. But even then, someone as knowledgeable and logical and, introspective and honest as Dorian Yates is, can be wrong, because he can only go with his own experience too. And Dorian Yates is a vastly different human being to me. And you are vastly different to me, very likely, in at least some ways. So what I'm doing might not work for you necessarily 100%. Everything works, though. Everything fucking works. Training my calves one set to failure worked. My calves got a little bigger and a bit more mature. One set to failure, my traps worked. My traps got quite a bit bigger. And that might still just be all that I need for traps, for example. But might also find that if I do numerous sets to failure on my traps, I get more gains. And that's part of experimenting. And funnily enough, exercise scientists aren't really a huge fan of experimenting, I've found. They're very dogmatic. And a lot of times it's the bro science that catches up to the science rather that catches up to the bro science. You start off with a guy who trains his traps every single day for 3 years. And the exercise scientist in 2014 would say, no, bro, you're going to overtrain. You're going to get central nervous system fatigue. No, I know that construction workers work 8 hours a day and use their muscles all day long and don't atrophy. If anything, they get bigger. But my science textbook said this, and my marketing brand, goes against my marketing, which is the biggest part, right? And then all of a sudden, oh wait, this guy's traps fucking blew up from training traps every single day. What's that all about? Well, he seems to think it's a thing called nucleus overload, and he's hypothesizing. But let me experiment with this in a lab, and then all of a sudden we find out that nucleus overload is a real thing. You can increase your nuclear density by training muscles every single day with low intensity, and then all of a sudden, what scientists for the longest time will call overtraining very quickly change their tune and say, no, that's nucleus overload. So, fucking, what am I talking about now? I don't know where I'm at, but basically, don't fall for marketing garbage. Try to think logically about everything. See the logic in it. Man, it's late at night. I'm fucking about to pass out. Doing a bit of posing here. Physique isn't looking too bad, really. I don't think. I'm not getting too fat. I'm trying my best to stick to this Vince Gironda diet where I just eat meat and berries and fucking eggs all day, basically. And then every third day I eat a bit of like starchy carbohydrates, like a potato or whatever, to like replenish my carbs. But, it's hard to stick to that shit. And food's like one of my only vice. Oh yeah, this is the last thing I'm doing. Every day I'm trying to fix my bicep tendinosis. It's definitely not tendonitis anymore, because I'll fucking rest these arms for ages and they still give me issues, which is maybe why my left bicep tore. But anyway, basically what I'm doing here is I'm working on my supinator muscle in my forearm, there's two muscles that help you supinate: your bicep and your supinator muscle in your forearm. Bicep tendonitis often comes from underactive supinator in the forearm and overactive bicep engagement for supination. So what I'm trying to do here is get my supinator in my forearm stronger, and the best way to do this is not have elbow flexion, because if you have elbow flexion, your bicep will then be taking a lot of the supination. So in order to turn the bicep off, you have to contract your tricep, fully extend your tricep, and then just keep your arm straight and do supination this way. This way I was actually able to feel my supinator muscle a hell of a lot. So I'm doing this every single day, training my supinator, doing it with blood flow restriction band too, to just really pump that sucker up. And then after this, I do a bunch of bicep curls, high rep, really, really, really low weight. I find a weight that doesn't feel. I find a weight that's so light that my bicep doesn't have any tendonitis. I can just feel the muscle, and then I just rep the fuck out of that shit. I just get a bunch of blood flow into the muscle, because blood flow is very important for tendons. Tendons have 10 times less blood flow than muscles, so you got to force blood into that area and rejuvenate the torn down tendon. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing supination, and then I'm doing bicep curls every single day. I would do myofascial release if I could, but my other arm, I can't fucking push it into my bicep and do that. So for now, I'm just going to have to focus on the supination and the high rep bicep curls. Maybe I'll get my girlfriend to push into my bicep, and then I'll do, fascial release. But she's not that strong, unfortunately, with the hands. She's got them little female hands. I don't know about you guys, but anytime you get your girlfriend to give you a massage, unless your girlfriend's a 6'4" Samoan man, they can never get into your dense, bulging, high-intensity training earned muscles. Personally, especially my back, bitches can never get into my back muscles. So, yeah, she's starting to train though. So, maybe her hands will get like really strong and she'll be able to give me massages one day or something. But for now, I'm basically stuck using balls to massage my glutes and upper back, and use my hands to massage my muscles. But I only have one hand free, so I don't know. Maybe I'll put like a giant fucking piece of iron on my bicep, and then just do a bunch of bicep, you know, flexion movements to try and self-release my biceps. But anyway, yeah, super high rep bicep curls here, getting a bunch of blood into the tendons, induce potentially some nucleus overload, maybe even increase a bit of sarcoplasmic size, perhaps, maybe even increase my capillary density in that right bicep. Maybe I'll get some bigger arms even still. Anyway, fucking man, this is a long ass video, dude. Tomorrow I'll do a live narration, and that'll be it. It'll be much easier. All right, see you guys for more Piss and Vinegar. Bye bye.